Hey there and welcome back to my channel. In today's sewing tutorial, I will be sewing these gorgeous waist bags. Bum bags, crossbody bags, call them whatever you want, but I absolutely love them. And you're the designer here, like I always say, so you're gonna make your bag look however you want. And yes, I use seatbelt material for the belts, and I absolutely love it. It's actually called seatbelt webbing. Anyway, my sewing pattern includes 3 different sizes, so you can make as many different bags as you want and string as many as you want around your waist. Absolutely love this. Anyway, so easy. Let's get right into it. Go ahead and click the pattern in the description of the video and you'll download the pattern. This is what the pattern looks like. There are 9 pages which you will tape together and you will get going just like me. Here are my pattern pieces cut out and taped together. This is the large body bag with its pocket, piece 1 and 2. Then the medium posh bag with its pocket piece. And then the small one, which I call long slim bag, piece 1 and 2. I'll be making the medium size waist bag, and it doesn't matter what size you make, the steps are all the same. Now, since my corduroy is a little thin, I'm going to actually iron on this stabilizer just to give it some stiffness. A stiffer fabric for this project does work better. Next, I'm placing right sides together and I'm going to pin the body bag pattern on and cut out all around. And just to let you know, I've linked all of the items and tools that I'm using in this sewing tutorial below in the description of the video. Next, using my chalk marker and my straight pins, I'm going to just transfer the top line of where I'm placing the interior slip pocket for my waist bag. Once I have that marked, I'll push it aside and now cut out my 2 pieces for the pocket. I folded my corduroy fabric right sides together, pinning it and cutting out. Once I'm all pinned together, I am going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, leaving an opening, back stitching on the ends of the opening. This way I could turn the pocket right sides out. Next, I'll clip the 4 corners and turn my pocket right side out. Give it a press, making sure the opening of the pocket, the ends are folded in, so there's a nice straight top edge. And now I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and just give it a top stitch. 2 top stitches right up here. Won't even bring you over because it was so simple. So I actually decided to give it one at the very top and one about 1/4 inch under that. Now, following my guideline up here, I'll pin my pocket in place. And I'll sew at the very edge of the pocket, except on top, backstitching on the ends. So I backstitch on the ends and the beginning, and I leave the top opening. The next step is to take the body bag pieces, placing them right sides together and making sure the edges, all four edges, are lined up. I'm going to actually use clips this time to clip it all together. And now I will sew all the way around using 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving about a 3-inch opening, enough for my hand to fit in. And at the opening, I'll be back stitching on each end of the opening. And I clip the corners again, and through the opening, I'll turn the bag right sides out. As you can see, before I press the bag, I make sure the seam is pressed out as much as possible. And I'll just give this a quick top stitch to close the opening. Next, here's how I'm going to sew the nylon zipper right on. So I fold this right sides down, or the inside of the bag, onto the right side of the zipper and right in place. Now, I'm not going to pin it or use clips because it's easier for me not to when I am sewing a zipper. But if you've never sewn a zipper, go ahead and pin it in place. And I'm going to edge stitch at the very edge of the fabric of my waist bag. My foot works like a zipper foot, but you may have to switch your machine over to a zipper foot before sewing this on. Once that end is sewn on, what I'm going to do is flip the bag right sides together until that shorter end lines up with the zipper, and I'm going to make the same exact stitch at the very edge of the zipper and edge of the bag, but I'm making sure both sides of the bags are lined up before I do this. It would be smart to pin or clip together, but I find when I'm sewing a zipper onto this particular bag, for me personally, it's easier not to clip. Next, I'll top stitch right over the zipper right on top. But before I do that, I want to make sure I have at least a 2-inch opening there because my seatbelt webbing is 2 inches. So this bag is designed to be created with seatbelt webbing. But if you're using a webbing that's much thinner and not 2 inches wide, go ahead and make your opening or casing there as wide as your webbing. So yours might be only 1 inch. And now just a quick top stitch at the very top of the zipper there, and that creates the casing for my seat belt to fit in. Next, I'll sew close the sides, not the casing, just the sides, all the way up to the zipper. Now, because my zipper did not have a stopper on this end, I'm gonna have to create a quick stopper just using my double threaded needle and button thread. So my thread is a little thicker, and all I'm doing is a quick running stitch in place like 5 or 6 times, and then I'm closing it off. And I'm also gonna show you how I use a match to singe the edges of my zipper so that it's much cleaner looking. To give this waist bag box corners, my final step is to iron the bottom here so I create a crease, and then I'm going to turn it right sides out, and I need to be able to see that crease. Once I see the crease, you'll see how I match up the corner with the crease line here. Making sure they line up, I use my straight pin. I poke it through the side seam, hoping it goes through the crease. And if it doesn't, I keep adjusting until I have it perfect. Once I do, I measure from the point up 1 inch and I mark with my chalk marker. Once I have my guideline in place there, I go over to the sewing machine, sew straight over a straight line, and then I repeat. I sort of make a double sewing stitch there just to ensure that that corner is strung in case I put heavy stuff in my waist bag. And now it's time to use my parachute buckle. So I'm using a 2-inch buckle because I'm using the 2-inch wide seatbelt webbing. But you may need a different size to accommodate your webbing if you're not using seatbelt webbing like myself. So here's what I do. Once you cut the edge, you have to sort of singe the edge again with a match. Then I'm going to thread the webbing through the female end. And just on this end am I going to actually sew the webbing in place. And I like to use blue so that it shows. That's just my style. Now I measured my waist, plus I added an extra 8 or 9 inches. So for me that was 40 inches for my webbing. So I cut my webbing 40 inches and I singed the other edge as well. Next, I thread my seatbelt webbing through the waist bag, and it's pretty much easy from here. Now, when I add my male end, I'm going to pull and make sure it has a tight hold. If not, I'm going to flip it around and do it the other way. Anyway, these parachute buckles did not come with an adjuster, and it's just as fine because I'm actually not going to sew this end closed in case I want to pull off this end and add more or different size waist bags to this belt. And just like that, I created my own waist bags, bum bags, belly bags, or whatever you want to call them. This is my style, and if you make it, remember, you're the designer, so you make your own style as well. Anyway, if you really love sewing tutorials like this, go ahead and check out my other waist bag tutorials right up here on the screen. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing, and don't forget to like this video. Bye for now.